welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera, and today I'm going to be reviewing a book called Devil's Brood. It's a historical fiction novel written by Sharon Kay Penman, published in 2008, and it's the third book in her series of the first Plantagenet, Henry II. Before I begin though, let me just say that since this book is historical fiction, I won't really be spoiling anything for you unless you're not familiarized with what happened to Henry II and his descendants. So yeah, I thought I should mention it just in case you want to be aware. In this installment of the series, we get to see a lot of things. From the decline of Henry II's dreams of bequeathing his heirs with a unified empire, to such said heirs rebelling over and over again against their father in various attempts to gain more power for them, to the dissolution of Henry's marriage to Eleanor of Aquitaine after she sides with her sons when they first want to rebel against him, her subsequent imprisonment by her husband, an imprisonment that will last for 16 years, to Henry's last moments on this earth and what happens after he dies, leaving Richard the Lionheart, his third son, in power. I give Devil's Brood a 4.5 out of 5 stars review. It's a really big book, but I devoured it in just 3 days. And that was mainly because I just couldn't put it down because it was that good. It's so full of drama, and in the end, after I'd finished it, it took me like 2 days to get over it because I was just in shock of everything that I had just learned and lived through. I just couldn't stop thinking about these people and the really complicated lives that they lived. I ended up siding with Henry II and really liking him, and I spent a lot of the book wishing I could hit his sons in the head whenever they were rebelling against their dad. Because even though I could understand their point of view at times on why they were rebelling in the first place, I think it's really tragic and poetic how Henry was a good king but a bad father. How he was just a very just ruler, but when he came to his sons, he just couldn't connect and understand them. Yes, he was blinded by his love for them in a way, forgiving them over and over again for their rebellions. But in the end, my heart just breaks whenever I think of his last words. Shame, shame upon a conquered king. Ugh, so powerful. As to his wife, Eleanor of Aquitaine, it's no wonder that she's become such a legend through the centuries because she's such a fascinating, complex woman. I love the voice that the author gave her, and after I finished Devil's Brood, I rewatched for the first time in years The Lion in Winter, a movie in which Peter O'Toole portrays Henry II and Katharine Hepburn portrays Eleanor of Aquitaine. And it was interesting here to study Peter O'Toole's performance because he had already played this king in the film Becket. And even though I don't think the movie is as historically accurate as it could have been, I still liked it. Great performances, of course, from those legendary actors. Among them, Anthony Hopkins and Timothy Dalton. As to Henry II and Eleanor's sons, I think that my least favorite ones were Hal and Richard, and because I was already familiarized with John through the author's The Welsh Princess trilogy, it was very interesting to see John in his early years. I actually ended up picking up Here Be Dragons again because it's a sort of sequel. It's my favorite novel by Penman, so I couldn't help myself. Although she's written 2 other books in recent years called Lionheart and A King's Ransom, which can be set between Devil's Brood and Here Be Dragons. I'm currently reading them. So yeah, she's written a lot about the Plantagenets, thankfully. But yeah, in the end, if you're like me and you like historical fiction, epic, sweeping family sagas that span decades or centuries, I'd recommend you to check out Penman's works, definitely. A few years ago, I read my first Sharon Kay Penman novel, The Sun in Splendor, and I totally fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite books ever. But despite the fact that I'm a history lover, a royalist, an Anglophile, and thus I love the British royal family, up until a while ago I didn't really know that much about the kings who ruled England during the Middle Ages. So that's why I hadn't read anything else by Penman up until the summer of 2019. But then someone recommended me to try her Welsh Princess trilogy, and I did, and it just blew me away because it was so good, particularly the first one, Here Be Dragons. And so then I had to try this series, which is actually a sort of prequel to the Welsh Princess trilogy, and of course to The Sun in Splendor. Besides, since I didn't really know that much about who Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine were, I thought it was gonna be a pretty cool history lesson to get to know them through this book. Years ago, I had watched The Lion in Winter, so that's as much as I knew about these 2 important historical figures. But Sharon Kay Penman has changed that. But for the moment though, I believe that this is all I have to say about Devil's Brood. Thank you so much for watching my review of it. Please let me know if you enjoyed it or not, as well as what are your own thoughts on this story, because I would love to talk about it with you. In the description box below you can find a link to the Goodreads page for the novel, as well as a link to its prequels in the author's Plantagenet series. Anyways, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye!